So with the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War finally getting an anime adaptation and us getting to see fights like Kenpachi versus Grimmy, Yuha versus Ichibe, Yuha versus Yamamoto, I think we can all agree Bleach has been cooking lately, okay? And with me watching these fights in the anime, I started to realize that Bleach has some of the most broken abilities I have ever seen in any show, okay? Like, they're honestly up there with the JoJo's universe, bro, with how broken these abilities are, okay? Like, bro, these are the type of abilities that you're just looking at the show and you're like, how does this character even get defeated? Like, how do they even beat him? You know what I'm saying? So it made me start wondering, what is the most broken ability in Bleach? Well, actually, I think most people agree what the most broken ability in Bleach actually is. But I still wanted to make a top 5 list on, what my 5 most broken Bleach abilities actually were. Also, if you haven't read the 1000-Year Blood War manga, there will be some spoilers on here, so beware. Starting with number 5, I have Ichibe's Zanpakuto. I don't even know what it's called. I'm just gonna say the power of black, okay? So basically, the weapon he uses is a paintbrush, okay? And using this, he can take away names and basically give things names. Now, the reason why this ability is so broken is because in Bleach, everything comes back to its name. That's why you hear characters yell out the names of their swords and they yell Bankai. Everything comes back to its name. If you have no name, you have no power, basically. So this man Ichibe, instead of having a sword that cuts like flesh, this man has a sword that cuts names. For example, in the fight with Yuha, this man literally cut Yuha's name in half, essentially giving him half power, okay? And on top of all of this, he can also give you like a new name or like use names to give you a level of power. So he literally covers Yuha in ink and says this man has the power of an ant. So now this man's only as strong as an ant, okay? Like, bro, this man Yuha literally had to absorb his entire army just to counteract this ability, bro. Like, I think it's safe to say this is really broken, alright? The next ability I have on here is Hashvolt's ability, which is balance. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how to explain what this ability does to you. The best way I can explain it is it basically keeps the balance between fortune and misfortune. So basically any fortune that comes upon you must be matched with misfortune and vice versa. So for example, Hashvolt was trying to execute this one Quincy, right? So he goes to slice him, right? And the sword doesn't pierce him because, the Quincy has this ability called like iron skin. So when Hashvolt tried to slice, he turned his skin to iron, therefore his sword couldn't cut him. And this man Hashvolt just looks at him, he's like, wow, you're very fortunate to have been able to block my sword. But I am sure you have noticed that the scales are tipping. So this man tries again, and he cuts through this man like butter. Basically, because the man got lucky and was able to block his sword the first time, the next time he tried to do it, he got unlucky and couldn't block his sword. That's basically what happened, right? And you be thinking, well, doesn't this also affect the user? Wouldn't this also affect Hashvolt? Wouldn't all the fortune he gets be matched with misfortune too? And you would think so, you know what I'm saying? You can't just have this broken ability with no drawbacks. But listen, we're talking about Bleach here, okay? There are no drawbacks. So, for example, this man Uryu, when he was fighting Hashvolt, this man uses his ability to reflect all of the damage he's taken on the Hashvolt. And this man Hashvolt takes all this damage and is just like, nah, and just reflects it back onto Uryu. So basically all misfortune that comes to Hashvolt, he can reflect that onto other people. So he literally does not have to face any of the drawbacks of his ability. So in my opinion, I feel like that's worth being number 4. And my third most broken ability, which most of you probably expected to be on here, I have Aizen's sword Kyoka Suigetsu. Now, basically Kyoka Suigetsu allows you to put people under illusions. But more than that, it literally allows you to control all 5 senses. So essentially, once you're put under this illusion, the man can literally control your every move. Like, he can make you see things that aren't even there. Like, he literally had the entire Soul Society fighting one of their own members thinking it was him. Like, there's pretty much nothing you can't do with this ability. So you may be thinking, well, how do you even get put under this illusion? So this is where it gets ridiculous. Basically, if you ever in your life look at Aizen's sword, you automatically get put under the illusion.
You what?
And once you're put under the illusion, you can't break it. You can't ever in your life not be put under illusion. He can see you 20 years after you've seen the sword and instantly put you under illusion because you've seen it before. Yeah, I think it's pretty broken. The only weakness this ability has is that if you touch Aizen's sword, it breaks the illusion. But in the 1,000-Year Blood War, he's merged with his sword. So that means you literally can't touch his sword anymore. And it also means that if you're looking at him, you're also looking at his sword. So essentially, if you look at Aizen, you're done. Like people like to say Itachi, oh, if you just look in his direction, you're gonna get, you already lost. Aizen is literally, if you look at him, you lose. That's literally what it is. So in my opinion, I think this is number 3. Now, after hearing that, you're probably wondering, well, what is more broken than looking at somebody and instantly getting put under hypnosis? What's more broken than that? Well, next I got Gremmy's ability, which is called the Visionary. Now, this one actually is very simple to explain. Essentially, whatever you imagine comes true.
Are you kidding me?
Whatever you can think of in your brain, it happens. You can literally turn your imagination into reality. So, for example, Grammy was fighting Yachiru, and he thought to himself, your bones are cookies. And he literally turned Yachiru's bones into cookies. So every time she attempted to move, her bones would just crumble. Now, anyone with a brain would understand why this is an insane ability to have, okay? The man's literally created space, okay? Like I don't even know. He was creating like clones of himself. Pretty much you can do anything. You want to fly, just imagine you can fly. Say you take damage, you can just imagine you didn't take damage. Like, the reason I have to put it above these other abilities is because, listen, these other abilities are broken, but like, I can just imagine that they don't affect me. Like, yeah, Aizen can put me under hypnosis, but I can just be like, I can just imagine that I'm not under hypnosis, and boom, he can't do nothing to me, right? And look, you know what the craziest thing about this ability is? The fact that the person who had it lost.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Now, you may be wondering, how does somebody lose with this ability? Basically, he imagined himself as strong as Kenpachi, and him doing that basically made his body explode because his body couldn't take how much power he imagined himself having. Now, you may be asking, okay, you can do all these things with your imagination. Why the frick would you imagine yourself as strong as Kenpachi? Out of all the stuff you could imagine, why would you think of that? I mean, it kind of does make sense when you realize Yuha had this man basically locked in a box his whole life, so I mean, it does make sense why he wouldn't have more of an imagination. But listen, if you were to give this ability to any other character, like imagine you gave this ability to Aizen, everybody's dying, okay? So in my opinion, this is number 2. Now, if this was just any other anime, this would 1,000,000% be the most broken thing in existence. Now, one honorable mention for broken abilities I had was Garar's ability known as Miracle. Basically, any damage you take, you can essentially just turn that into power using miracles. So essentially, the more damage you do to him, the stronger he gets. Now, if it was just that, I'm gonna be honest, this would be a top 3 broken ability. But apparently, the way you can kill Garar is by destroying this like cross that like appears when he splits. Apparently the author said that if you destroy that, you can kill Garard. If it wasn't for that weakness, he would have a spot on the list. But just because of the fact that you have a weakness like that, I can't put you on the list. You know what I'm saying? Now, the number 1 ability I have on here as the most broken ability in Bleach, as a surprise to nobody, it's the Almighty. Now, basically, the Almighty, it allows you to see the future. But not only does it allow you to see the future, it allows you to see multiple futures. And out of those multiple futures, you can choose which future you want to happen. So basically, you can see the future and you can change the future, bro. And of course, Yuha having this ability is an absolute menace to society. I mean, Yuha was literally getting bodied by Ichibei. This man activated the Almighty and this dude Ichibei explodes, bro. Like, like you can't make this up, bro. Like, this man Ichigo went Bankai, right? This man Yuha looked at Ichigo. He was like, yeah, I've seen your Bankai before in the future. Unfortunately, your Bankai's a threat to me, so I changed the future, and this man Ichigo's Bankai just snaps in half. Like, what? Like, bro, this man literally cheated the audience out of seeing Ichigo's Bankai because he went to the future and changed it. Now, I read the 1,000-Year Blower manga like 2 years ago, and to this day, I still don't understand how they even beat him, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure they only won because Aizen showed his Kyokasuigetsu to him before he activated the Almighty. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they ever even beat him, okay? So yeah, that's my list on the most broken abilities in Bleach. There's way more, by the way. If I made a whole video on every broken ability, the video would be like an hour long. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys' 5 most broken abilities are, and I'll see you next time.